From Main and Gervais, this is ABC Columbia News.
Good evening. We are covering historic flooding in South Carolina tonight. We have 5 confirmed deaths from the Emergency Management Division. They are telling us that 5 deaths so far in the state of South Carolina, and they are expecting more to come in. Countless homes are underwater tonight, and displaced families are counting their blessings, many of them in shelters. And tonight, a new concern, water in the city of Columbia. Good evening. I'm Ben Hoover.
And I'm Alicia Barnes. Water main breaks mean many in the city of Columbia are without water tonight. It's causing big concerns. We are considering this breaking news because a spokesperson for the South Carolina Emergency Management Division says that federal officials are now discussing evacuating area hospitals due to the lack of clean water. Officials with the water department say that it could take several days to restore the service, causing very big problems tonight. Even, we're thinking to ourselves, we don't have any water here inside of our ABC studios. How do you go to the bathroom? How do you wash your teeth? How do you get dressed if you have kids?
And think about hospitals. We just confirmed that they are thinking about evacuating some of these hospitals in the Columbia area, especially within the city limits. We've heard from Dorn VA tonight. The William Jennings Bryan Dorn VA Medical Center currently in a state of emergency and requesting that all staff who can travel safely to report for their assigned tour of duty to ensure that they can continue continuous care for their patients, and also to ensure that their employees are safe as well tonight. Now, that they want to stress that the current curfew that we are under in the city of Columbia until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning does not affect staff going into work for a hospital. Our Grace Joyle is live on the banks of the Congaree River tonight. We're hoping that the city has some sort of plan to get the water back up and running into homes. Grace, what's the latest?
Hey guys, I'm here behind Adventure Children's Museum adjacent to the Gervais Street Bridge. You can see the Congaree River behind me. It breached its banks long ago, but it's still flowing strongly tonight. This historic rainfall has overloaded the city's water system. You can see one of the water plants that belongs to the city here in front of you. Again, city officials say restoring water to those of you without it could take up to 4 days. Here's some other important information that you need to know. South Carolina finds itself
what we've been through
in a place it's simply never been.
What we continue to go through is unlike anything any of us has ever seen.
Flooded out houses and roads, overflowing rivers and creeks, non-stop rain. City of Columbia and Richland County officials met Sunday evening to talk about what they've seen, praising emergency responders for their efforts.
They have done a phenomenal job under unprecedented conditions, and we want to continue to support them.
The city and county law enforcement have joined forces to create a united front.
You have a seamless manner of law enforcement working together. There's no jurisdictional lines at this point.
Our concentration right now obviously is emergency and rescue, and that's where we'll continue to prioritize.
But they need you to work with them.
One of the biggest problems we're having today is the rescuing people out of cars because they're driving through these low-lying areas.
The flooding in the Midlands has taken 1 life so far.
They talk about how dangerous this is, and we're not talking theory here. This is reality.
The Richland County coroner says a young woman was recovered from a car that had been swept off Sunset Drive.
We know we've had 1 killed. We're not sure if there's other ones out there that haven't been recovered yet, but this is serious.
The raindrops might stop falling.
We know that this challenge is not over, and the danger to life and property does not end when the rain stops.
But the effects of this storm will be felt for weeks to come. Back out here behind Adventure Children's Museum, you can get a better sense of the flooding out here. This is the canal, which is overflowed onto Coble Plaza. Pretty intense imagery, and certainly just shows the magnitude of what the city of Columbia's water system is dealing with. Just a reminder for everyone that both Richland County and the city of Columbia are under mandatory curfews right now until 6 tomorrow morning. You are not legally allowed to drive on public roads or walk on private property until 6 tomorrow morning. Live from Adventure Children's Museum, Grace Joyle, ABC Columbia News.
All right,
a lot of folks wondering when will officials begin handing out water? No word from the city tonight. We're hoping for them to address that at some point when they update the public tomorrow at noon.
Even if they're going to be temporary bathrooms, if that's going to be a concern, that's going to be a growing concern as we move into day number 2, day number 3. I do want to talk about the numbers. We talk about 2 big problems. Some people don't have water and some people do have water. Now, for the people who do have water, they are under a boil water advisory in the city of Columbia. That's 375,000 people that we're talking about who are under this boil water advisory. So just putting things into perspective as to how many lives that this is affecting in terms of this water crisis that we might be experiencing in this next day or 2 if things are not handled correctly and things back on, getting our water flowing.
Right. And I stopped in at our house. We're in the city of Columbia, and there is a small stream that does come out. I mean, very small out of the faucets. Do not drink that. Do not use that as well. We'll keep you posted on the water situation within the city of Columbia, and we'll have more on that here coming up in this newscast. In the meantime, of course, we need to get to your forecast.
Right.
Still some rain throughout the area. Our Greg Armbrecht joins us now with the very latest.
Greg, what can we expect overnight and into the morning? What are the big concerns that we see might be ahead?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I can recommend for anybody out there is just stay put. First of all, you have to stay put. It's a law right now. But second of all, you can't really go anywhere anyway. All the roadways are pretty much flooded out there. It's just very dangerous. Just stay where you are if you're safe. That's the best place you can be. As far as additional rainfall, what we're expecting for the rest of tonight, just some showers out there. I don't expect the downpours we dealt with really the past 24 hours. But again, at this point, anything hurts, even some light rain out there. That's what we're seeing, some light shower activity, mostly to the south of the Columbia area. I'm not expecting much more in the way of additional accumulation. But again, the damage is already done. Now we just have to watch the rivers rise probably for at least the next 24 hours or so as all that moisture to the north continues to push down to the south. Keep in mind the moisture that fell up to the north still has to work its way all the way down, all the creeks, the streams, and the rivers, all the way down to the Atlantic. So yes, the rainfall might be letting up, but that doesn't mean the flood threat is done. Certainly not done just yet. Notice the moisture earlier today that was streaming in off the Atlantic. Now it's weakening, but again, light to moderate rainfall, still not a good thing. The rainfall totals, just devastating, really. Notice up to the north and west, Newberry, over 11 inches of rainfall. This is just the past 24 hours. All of us have the flood warnings out there. They'll probably be up for the next couple of days. Columbia over 11 inches, but look off to the south and east of Columbia. We have it really bad here in Columbia, but notice off to the south and east, 10 to 20 inches. If you go far enough, Manning, almost 22 inches of rainfall. All the way down to Charleston, over 2 feet of rainfall there. This is just absolutely devastating. As far as the coastal communities, a lot of people like to go down there on vacation. Even down here, they got hit hard. Look at Mount Pleasant, 24.23 inches, all the way up to North Myrtle Beach, over 15. There was no way to escape this. This was about a 50 to 100 mile wide band that pretty much affected the whole area. For perspective, this was a 1 in 1,000 year flooding. That means we can go 1,000 years and not see flooding this bad. It was truly catastrophic. 74 miles of I-95 was closed, 312 road closures, 130 bridges. That's why you can't get anywhere. And of course, the Combahee River, the current record is 126.9 feet. We will beat that. This will be an all-time record for that river, and it continues to rise probably another 2 feet. That'll probably peak tomorrow morning, so still another 12, 18 hours before we get to the peak. Then the rivers have to start to come down. That'll still take a couple days. Additional rainfall, inch or less, probably less than 1/2 inch. That is the blessing here, but still, we don't need any more rain. Down along the coast, maybe 1 to 3 inches there. So we're not expecting much additional rainfall, but please stay home. And this is a time where, as a community, we need to come together and help each other out. I'll have much more coming up.
All right, Greg, thanks so much. There are emergency shelters that have been set up all throughout the Midlands in Richland County. We know of AC Flora High School, also Dreher High School. We have learned tonight from a city official that those 2 shelters are at capacity. However, there are other options, and that includes Lower Richland High School and St. Andrews Middle School. In Kershaw County, Camden High School. In Orangeburg, Bethune, Bowman K-12 school. That's also an option for a shelter tonight.
In Sumter High School is offering shelter. Also Scotts Branch High School in Clarendon County, and the Lexington Leisure Center and the Seven Oaks Complex in Lexington County, all places where you're able to get shelter. And so far there have been 5 confirmed weather deaths, and officials believe there will probably be more. Now, property damage in the yet untold millions.
As our Jennifer Reddy reports tonight, Governor Nikki Haley says that the resources are in place to get the Midlands and the state back on dry land.
The weekend is almost over, but we are still feeling the direct effects of this weekend's rainfall. As you can see behind me, what is normally a pathway for pedestrians or bikers is now knee-deep in water. This is one of the many reasons officials are warning people they still need to be extremely careful.
If you are in your house, stay in your house. This is not something to be out taking pictures of.
Governor Nikki Haley is urging South Carolina residents to avoid the roadways as heavy rain continues to cause severe flooding and broken infrastructure across the state. Here in the Midlands, several businesses are partially submerged underwater, while many roadways are washed away.
We have obviously closed numerous roads and bridges in the state due to flooding issues and concerns about the structural health of our bridges.
The heavy rainfall has resulted in 3 fatalities across the state, and authorities say they've made several rescues. Officials say although the rain is expected to weaken in the next 24 hours, the danger is not over.
We're not out of this yet. Safety is of the utmost concern for everyone.
This system is very immediate, it's very quick. So make sure you keep your counties involved, call that 911, and let us know what's going on out there.
Officials say they do have plenty of resources still available in case of further emergencies across the state, but Governor Nikki Haley is urging counties as well as school districts to consider closing tomorrow to keep people off the roads. Jennifer Reddy, ABC Columbia News.
Now, we should mention that just before this newscast, we heard from the City of Columbia, from the police department, saying that tomorrow morning, both the City of Columbia Police Departments and Richland County Sheriff's Department, along with SLED, will begin concentrated search and rescue operations tomorrow, Monday morning, and that first responders will, of course, be going back into these areas to see if anybody else needs to be rescued, and also to be just doing some checks on the homes.
That's right.
It took swift water rescue crews to help many people trapped along Garner's Ferry Road. That was a big area along Gills Creek. Our Marvin Beach is live there tonight with an update on the latest conditions.
Marvin, have things improved over the past few hours? I know you've been out there a while.
Yeah, Alicia and Ben, the good news is the water has begun to recede from where it was when we were with you here earlier tonight at 6 o'clock. Now we are at Garner's Ferry Road near Fort Jackson Boulevard, where parts of the Garner's Ferry Road still closed tonight. The police have it shut down. You can see cops here and cars still stranded in the middle of the road. Unbelievable sight at Garner's Ferry Road near Fort Jackson Boulevard. The road submerged in water. The shopping center flooded.
Believe it, I couldn't believe this was Columbia.
The only people able to get through here are on boat. We caught up with 2 swift water rescue volunteers from Rock Hill. They were checking out homes and buildings to make sure everyone was out. What they could see of the inside of buildings, they say, wasn't good.
It's a lost cause. I mean, it's really sad. If I could get in there with the camera, it's devastating. I wish my phone was waterproof so I could take pictures, because, I mean, this is history right here, though.
They're driving through this area tonight. It is really, really eerie because the power is still out. Still really dark out here tonight. For now, we're live off Garner's Ferry Road, Marvin Beach, ABC Columbia News.
All right, thank you so much, and stay with us for more coverage of today's historic flood.
We'll be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about the areas that were hit hardest here around the area. Let's talk about the Lake Catherine area. Just to give you an idea, if you're not familiar with the Lake Catherine area, the roads we're talking about, the perimeter would be Kilbourne, Trenholm, Fort Jackson, that area. But when you look at those areas, Ben, that were hit really, really hard, you see the video here behind us. You're talking about Milford, Shady, Rickenbacker, I hear, was hit the hardest. You were out there all day today. Kind of take me through what you were seeing.
Well, Lake Catherine was just one of many communities all along Gills Creek that were completely, a lot of the homes were just completely submerged up to the rooftops. People were being rescued all throughout this morning. You mentioned Rickenbacker, Burwell, but also up all the way up to Decker Boulevard as well. When we got to Rickenbacker at Kilbourne, we were met by a boat. I asked to get on that boat with this gentleman, and he took me down Burwell. Take a look. Jackson Boulevard, that would be the way down to Shady Lane towards Lake Fort Jackson Boulevard. That would be the way down to Shady Lane towards Lake Catherine. This is crazy. And this would be looking up towards Fort Jackson Boulevard.
I'm gonna brush these tree limbs right here. Watch your head.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
This is the deepest spot. I thought maybe that was a sign saying, hey, we're still home, and checked all of those homes and the doors left open with just a storm door closed, and I thought maybe that was a sign saying, hey, we're still home, and checked all of those homes and no one was there. The ones that were completely under, I put the boat on the roof and went and thumped on the roof to make sure I didn't hear anybody knocking back. Had my chainsaw with me if I needed it, and couldn't find anybody left.
How far did you make it up there that time?
Oh, I made it all the way to Downing and Kilburn.
Okay. All right, we're going to have to try to... I've been back here in boat.
I talked to a gentleman by the name of, I believe his name was Jeff Graydon. He lives at the corner of Burwell and Kilburn. He got his family out, but then went back out with boats, with a boat, and rescued about 25 to 30 people right off their front porches, right there in the Rickenbacker area.
Talk to me about the people who weren't willing to leave right away, because you've been out there all day long. So this started early, way early in the morning, where I think people saw the flooding but thought that maybe it would recede, thought that it would not get this bad. Kind of talk to me about those people that you came across.
Well, DNR and neighbors got a lot of the folks out pretty quickly, but there were some, I should say, stubborn elderly folks who did not want to leave their homes, even being up, you know, to their waist deep. Waist deep, some people neck deep in water, and they did not want to come out. There was concern about an elderly couple on Burwell, and we had learned, though, that just a short time before then, somebody finally got them to come out of their home into safety. And we've heard from their family tonight that they're so thankful and blessed that they finally came out of their homes. And then up near Forest Drive, right there at Gills Creek as well, Copeland's, a Columbia landmark, Zoe's, Forest Lake Fabric, underwater. And when you look at the area, it's almost on one side of the road, you have flooding, but then when you look at Starbucks and Urban Nirvana and the shops that are over there in Trenton Plaza, you know, they didn't experience flooding. And so when you look at these pictures, you see how big of a deal this is in terms of the flooding, in terms of rescues. Again, Ben, I can't say it enough. I think the biggest issue is the water. I think that's going to be in the next coming days, because for right now, for people who have water to drink or bottled water at home, that is going to be a very big concern. That's right. The water situation is a big one tonight. More swift water rescues going on tomorrow as well. They do believe that there are still some families in their homes, maybe in their attics, where they might have to go back out tomorrow. They will be back out tomorrow and pull some of these folks out. Also in terms of evacuations, I know I was on the phone early this afternoon with Columbia Fire Chief Aubrey Jenkins, and he was taking me through the evacuation process. At one point, I think it was around maybe 4:30 or 5, they stopped those evacuation processes. I know throughout the day they've kind of like regrouped, assessed to be able to see who really needs help. Social media has been a great way to be able to get out for people using Twitter and Facebook. Well, these rescues are so exhausting on the body. They've had to have crews shift in and shift out just to get some fresh bodies in there to pull off rescues like this. I mean, they've got teams coming from as far as Tennessee. They've got the National Guard troops here to try to help people who were stranded in their homes, and maybe even tomorrow. We'll have to see. We hope not, but we'll have to see. We do want to get the latest on the forecast. Still some rain in the area of the Midlands, and we'll see if this more rain overnight will add more fuel to these floods. That's from Greg Armbrecht. Yes, the meteorologist Greg Armbrecht. We'll have another look at your forecast. It's all next. We hope you stay with us on ABC Columbia News at 11.
Well, good Sunday evening. Hopefully you and your family are staying safe out there, just staying put tonight, just trying to grasp the seriousness of the situation that we've really seen the past 24 to 48 hours. Just historic rainfall here in the area, 1 in a 1,000-year flood. This will not happen again in your lifetime, probably not for a couple lifetimes from now. Past 48 hours, Greenville, 4.5 inches. You know you've seen a lot of rain. When you look at 4.5 inches and you say, oh, that's not that much rain. Yeah, it's not that much compared to everybody else, but even that's a lot of rain. Most areas anywhere between about 10 and 20 inches. If you get far enough to the south and east, Manning, that's the bullseye, over 22 inches of rainfall there. Even further south and east, right along the coast, get down towards the Charleston area, some areas over 2 feet of rain. That is unbelievable. Overnight planner for the rest of tonight. The good news here is we still have a few lingering showers, but we're not expecting the rainfall that we saw last night. So as far as flooding rains at this point, I think the bulk of the flooding rains has fallen. But you have to remember, the rain that fell earlier today to the north still has to work its way down all the creeks and streams and rivers. That can take a couple of days. So we're not necessarily out of the flood threat. So just stay where you are. Everything right now is flooding. There's no reason to go anywhere. Temperatures hold lower to middle 60s. Also a breeze out there that'll help to bring down some trees. That'll happen into the overnight as well. So this is just a terrible situation. Again, just stay at home, stay put, and try your best to help your neighbors, family, and friends the next couple of days. Everybody's going to need it. With the winds and the wet conditions out there, you also don't want to be outside. Believe it or not, this can get hypothermic. If you get too wet, temperatures right now into the 60s. Later tonight, lower 60s. Again, that is another bad combination. We just can't seem to be winning anything here. Notice your winds out there between about 15 and 25 miles per hour. So again, that's a threat with the trees. As far as the rainfall, the 4 or 5 inch rainfall rates we saw earlier today, that has subsided, but still light to moderate rainfall pretty much across the entire area, especially areas off to the south, but even areas up to the north dealing with drizzle. But again, that's not the flooding rainfalls that we've seen. It's just enough to just make it miserable out there. Bigger picture shows that moisture stress that we had coming in off the Atlantic still affecting the area. The heaviest rain continues to be off to the south. This will gradually weaken as we go through the rest of the overnight period and into the day on Monday, but it's going to take some time. What we really need is some real dry conditions and sunshine. That probably doesn't happen until Tuesday. Hour by hour forecast for the rest of tonight. Again, some light rain out there right now, some cloudy skies, but notice the rain starts to break up by morning tomorrow. Through the day tomorrow, lots of cloud cover, still a few isolated showers, not much in the way of sunshine, but notice what happens Monday night. High pressure says enough, kicks it out of here. We start to break up the clouds. Then as we go through the day on Tuesday, we see improving conditions with sunny skies, temperatures back into the 70s. We can really start to clean some things up out there. But again, it's going to take another 24 hours. Additional rainfall, inch or less. I put an inch just to play it safe. I really think it's less than ½ of an inch. So again, not much more in the way of rainfall. Areas right along the coast, maybe 1 to 3 inches there. But again, the bulk of the heavy moisture now moving off the coast, which is a blessing. Tonight, 62 degrees, periods of rain. Again, this is historic flooding. Please just stay where you are. Just take it easy. Tomorrow's forecast, again, a few hit and miss showers. Temperatures still below average, middle to upper 60s. Once we get past Monday, this is what we need. We really need that sunshine, dry conditions. Mother Nature will deliver. Temperatures back into the 70s, mostly sunny skies, a dry forecast. So we really try to get things back together again. Be safe out there tonight. Take it easy. Just stay with your family. And let's wait till the morning to see how things go.
All right, Greg, thanks so much. Schools have been shut down for tomorrow, and we have a list.
Yeah, coming up, we're going to run down the full, complete list of all the school districts that are closing their doors tomorrow due to the flooding. Please stay with us. Please stay with us. It's all next on ABC Columbia News at 11. All right, we told you we're going to have your school closings, and we have that list for you now. School districts across the Midlands will be closed tomorrow because of the flooding. All classes at the University of South Carolina are canceled for tomorrow. The South Carolina State University's campus is also closed tomorrow. All Newberry County schools and the offices there are closed tomorrow. Lexington districts through 4, Rob? 1 through 4. Again, 1 through 4 have been canceled for school tomorrow. We also have learned all schools in Lexington, Richland 5 will be closed.
There's an entire list on our website of all the schools. You can also check your school district's website. Richland School Districts 1 and 2 are also closed. That's R1, R2 closed tomorrow. Kershaw County schools, Fairfield County schools, and Sumter County schools are all closed tomorrow. Orangeburg County Consolidated School District 5 schools are closed tomorrow, and they've gone ahead and closed school for Tuesday in that district. We also are learning tonight that some traffic information. A lot of folks have been wondering, what about the interstates? Which ones are passable? We know that I-26 East is closed at I-20, and I-26 West is closed at exit 110. That's straight from the State Department of Public Safety.